There has been a recent development out of Manhattan federal court earlier today. The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City star Jen Shah pleaded guilty in her federal fraud case today in front of U.S. District Judge Sidney Stein. Since the housewife pleaded guilty to count one, conspiracy to commit wire fraud in connection with telemarketing, the prosecutor agreed to drop count two, which was conspiracy to commit money laundering. Shah allegedly scammed hundreds of people, specifically elderly, in a widespread telemarketing scheme. She was scheduled to go to trial on July 18th, but today, in a surprise hearing, changed her plea. Let's get more details now from our own Adam Klasfeld. Adam, thank you so much for joining us. What else can you tell us about this case?
Well, it was, as you noted, a very surprise development this morning. Just to put it into perspective, the change of plea hearing was scheduled for 10:30. We received notice of it from a public docket filing about 2 minutes before the hearing began. So this came 1 week in advance of what would have been her trial and averted what you noted was a two-count indictment, pleading guilty to one of those charges. Now, one of those counts is a very serious charge. It has a maximum 30-year sentence as a possible punishment, but under the guidelines range of her plea agreement will be somewhere in the neighborhood of 11.25 years to 14 years. Now, I should say the federal judge who will be sentencing her will have discretion to go above or below that range. But if he goes below 14 years, she cannot appeal her sentence.
Adam, do you know any specific details about the telemarketing scheme?
Well, so a couple of the things that came out, she admitted, pursuant to her plea agreement, that she targeted, that it victimized people over the age of 55. At least more than 10 of the victims were over that age, and targeted vulnerable people, according to prosecutors as well. And basically, it was built as coaching for supposed online business opportunities, which she admitted in court today had little or no value. Prosecutors said that she tried to evade law enforcement essentially by moving the business operations from Manhattan to Kosovo. So we'll surely be learning more about it upon her upcoming sentencing, which is now scheduled shortly after Thanksgiving, the Monday after.
All right. Well, it looks like Adam is experiencing some technical difficulty there. So let's see if we can hear him again. Adam, can you hear us?
I can hear you perfectly. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I'm sorry about that. I interrupted you.
Okay.
Last I heard, she was going to go to court around Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so her sentencing proceeding has been scheduled for the Monday after Thanksgiving. And we'll learn around that time what prosecutors say. They will state out the scheme in detail. But basically, what we know about it is that it was a nationwide scheme that defrauded elderly and vulnerable people out of millions. Prosecutors said in court that it counted thousands of victims, a number of which would have testified at her trial had this gone to a trial. So we'll be following closely to see what else emerges as the sentencing memos come public closer to the date that she'll be sentenced.
Now, one more thing, Adam. During an episode that aired in March, she told everyone that she was going to fight these charges because she's innocent. What do you think changed for her?
Well, a number of her co-conspirators had pleaded guilty, and the strength of the evidence described by prosecutors seemed to be strong. They said that they would have brought information about her encrypted communications, about what I had mentioned earlier, about the effort to move the business operations from Manhattan to Kosovo. So I think, a week before the trial, as the prosecutors gather more guilty pleas, and she saw the strength of the evidence, and she went in court and basically said that she was guilty, that she agreed with others to commit wire fraud, and that she saw the strength of the evidence and it changed her mind.
Adam, thank you so much for that great reporting. And keep in mind, she will also forfeit $6.5 million to the U.S. government and pay $9.5 million in restitution to the victim.